everybody, it's JT Sports Match, you guys, with another video. This video here, my Tennessee Titans versus the Carolina Panthers Week 9 NFL preview and prediction. I'm going to be previewing this matchup and giving my prediction for who will win this game. Now, before I begin, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel. I upload NFL videos and college football videos daily. Also, make sure to hit that notification button right next to the subscribe button. It's a little bell icon. It will alert you every time that I upload a new video. So, we have the 4-4 Tennessee Titans who are going to be traveling on the road versus the 4-3 Carolina Panthers. The Carolina Panthers just got absolutely smacked down. They got embarrassed. They got steamrolled by the San Francisco 49ers. And let me tell you something. I was not expecting that at all. I knew the 49ers would win, but I thought that game was going to be very, very close. And the Tennessee Titans, they got a win versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Now, the Tennessee Titans, I like the Tennessee Titans. The reason why I like the Tennessee Titans is because the wins aren't pretty. But they're a scrappy team. And the thing with the Tennessee Titans is it doesn't matter who they play. You can never count them out. They're a scrappy football team. You can never underestimate the Tennessee Titans. This is a scrappy football team. That's something that I've always admired about the Tennessee Titans. When they're underdogs, they most of the time end up winning a lot of games when they're not favored to win. When they go into games underdogs, and they're a scrappy football team. They fight, they claw, they keep games close. They might not win pretty, but this is a scrappy football team, and that's something that I always loved about the Tennessee Titans. They find ways to win, and last week they found a way to win against Tampa when they had a big lead on Tampa earlier in that game. Then Tampa ended up crawling back into the game because we knew Tampa's offense was going to end up doing some damage to that Tennessee Titans defense just because of anytime you got Jameis Winston there, he's an ultra-aggressive quarterback. You got Mike Evans, you got Chris Godwin. So you have a very explosive offense that can score at any point in the game. Now, what separated Tennessee from winning that game versus losing that game was the fact that they were able to create turnovers and they were able to get pressure on Jameis Winston. And a big reason that they were able to get pressure on Jameis Winston was Jeffrey Simmons. Jeffrey Simmons, the rookie out of Mississippi State, I think that was his first game back. He was placed on IR because he had some kind of injury that sidelined him for the last couple of months. This dude, Jeff Simmons, is going to be an absolute monster. I'm telling you right now, this dude's going to be a future Pro Bowler. He's going to be an absolute monster. And the few plays that he played in versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, he wasn't able to play in a lot of snaps because he wasn't in football shape. He didn't really have his conditioning up. But when that guy gets in football shape, he's going to cause a lot of problems up front. Because I love what I see out of that dude. Jeff Simmons. I mean, that dude was an absolute monster. He was a top 5 talent going into this draft. The only reason he didn't go top 5 was because it was injury concern. It was some off-the-field issues that he had. But Jeff Simmons, whatever people call him, this dude is a stud. Tennessee got him one. That dude is going to be an absolute monster. What he did versus Tampa last week, I was very impressed. This is coming from a guy who doesn't really have a lot of conditioning and isn't in the best of shape. So there's a lot of plays that he had to sit out because his conditioning wasn't quite there. And versus a Carolina Panthers team that allowed a lot of sacks last week versus San Francisco 49ers, Jeffrey Simmons, this is a game that he might end up having a sack or two. Because this Carolina Panthers offensive line got absolutely dominated. Absolutely dominated. And it's not just the offensive line. Carolina got dominated on both sides of the football. Do you know what it says when a team on the offensive side of the ball just says, we're just going to line up and we're just going to run the football on you. We're going to prove to you that our guys, mano a mano, are more physical and more dominant than your guys on the defensive side of the ball. And this isn't just a normal defensive line that the San Francisco 49ers ran the ball on. This is a Carolina Panthers front 7 that a lot of people consider top 5 in the NFL, led by Gerald McCoy. So in this game, Carolina has to bounce back in this game. Tennessee is a team that has been streaking. They're getting hot at the right moment. And this is a must-win game for the Carolina Panthers. Because we saw this last year. Carolina, they were streaking. They were on a win streak. They had a good record. Then on the Thursday night game, they had to travel to Pittsburgh. They ended up getting blown out in that game versus Pittsburgh. And the season just went down from there. Now, no Cam Newton got injured. But, I mean, that's still no excuse for the downward spiral that their season took after that loss. They got humiliated. And they got humiliated last week versus the San Francisco 49ers. So, if you're going head coach Ron Rivera, you have to get these guys to get over that loss. And you got to come ready to play. Because if Carolina still shows some signs of weakness from that beatdown that they took last week versus the San Francisco 49ers, then this game is going to be any different. Because this is a very physical Tennessee Titans team. They're very physical and they're a very scrappy team. So if Carolina can't get over that loss that they took last week and they still bring some of that into this game, they're going to end up losing this game. They're going to end up losing this game. Because, look, you can't dwell. I know it's a blowout, but in the NFL, you can't dwell on big losses like that. I know it's embarrassing. I know it's humiliating. But if you come into this game versus the Tennessee Titans still dwelling over that loss last week, it's not going to be pretty. Because this is a Tennessee Titans team that is very scrappy and they're very physical up front. The offensive line might not be great, but on the defensive side of the ball, they're physical and they get after you. So looking at my keys to victory, what both of these teams will be able to do to win this game, the Carolina Panthers had to protect Kyle Allen, I said Kyle Allen. I corrected it. Kyle Allen, I corrected it. So they had to protect Kyle Allen. You got Nick Bosa. You got DeForest Buckner. You got D Ford. You got Solomon Thomas, who's been making a couple of plays over the last couple of weeks. So those guys absolutely wrecked the Carolina Panthers last week. Now, you got a Tennessee Titans front seven that isn't as good as the San Francisco 49ers talent-wise, but they're very physical and they can get after you up front. So, Carolina's offensive line isn't able to protect Kyle Allen this week, and they have a similar performance like what they did last week versus the 49ers, then it's not going to be pretty. They're going to have to be able to protect Kyle Allen. Now, this is a very talented front seven for the Tennessee Titans. They're not as good as the front seven that the 49ers have, but this is a very good group that they have up front. So they're going to have to be able to protect Kyle Allen. Next thing Carolina has to be able to do is they got to stop the run game. The Carolina Panthers are 27th in the NFL in rushing yards per game allowed. They're allowing opposing teams to rush for 135 rushing yards per game. And the Tennessee Titans are 20th in the NFL in rushing yards per game with 98.2. But Tennessee is a team that can run the football if they commit to it. And Derrick Henry, he's a very physical back. And the 49ers beat down the Carolina Panthers last week. And this is a Derrick Henry who, if you give him 20 carries and he's able to beat you down and tear out that defense, he can do a lot of damage. He can do a lot of damage just because of how physical and how powerful of a back he is. So the Carolina Panthers have to be able to stop the run game. A big part of Tennessee's offense is their ability to run the football. Now, if they're able to stop the run game, then you force Tennessee with Ryan Tannehill to throw the football. Now, Tennessee over the last couple of weeks has done a lot better when it comes to getting more production out of the passing game. But this is a Carolina Panthers secondary that has been pretty good this year so far. So I'll take my chances if I'm the defensive coordinator for the Carolina Panthers. I'll say, hey, I'd rather stop the run game and force Ryan Tannehill to beat us through the air. So if the Carolina Panthers are able to stop the run, then I think they have a good chance of winning this game. Now for the Tennessee Titans, they have to be able to contain Christian McCaffrey. Now, you're not going to be able to stop Christian McCaffrey, but you can contain him. Last week was a good example of that. For the most part, Christian McCaffrey, he had a couple of big runs and whatnot, but for the most part, the 49ers kept him in check, aside from a couple of big runs and a couple of big plays. But for the most part, other than that, Christian McCaffrey got held in check by the San Francisco 49ers. So they have to be able to contain Christian McCaffrey. Christian McCaffrey is an MVP candidate, and he's the heart and soul of this offense. If you're able to stop Christian McCaffrey, then you're going to have a pretty good chance of beating the Carolina Panthers because Christian McCaffrey is basically the main piece of the offense. And if Christian McCaffrey isn't going, if he's not having a lot of success, then Carolina is going to have a lot of success on the offensive side of the ball. He's their key to the offense. So the Tennessee Titans have to find a way to contain Christian McCaffrey or limit the effect that he has on this game. Now, he's still going to get his. He got his last week. But for the most part, other than a couple of big plays that he had, he got held in check. And the last thing Tennessee has to be able to do is to win this game. They have to be able to convert on third down. Tennessee is 25th in the NFL on third down conversion percentage. So Tennessee, if they want to be able to win this game, they have to be able to sustain drives. You can't win in the NFL if you're not able to convert on third down and keep your offense on the field and sustain drives. So the team that I'm going with to win this game, I'm going to go with the Carolina Panthers to win this game. I think Carolina bounces back. They just got blown out last week versus San Francisco 49ers, but I don't think that loss is an indictment of how good of a football team this is. I think this is a Carolina Panthers team that will end up making the playoffs for the NFC, and I think they end up bouncing back. And now I think this game could go either way, but I just think Carolina ends up bouncing back. I think Christian McCaffrey ends up having a pretty solid day, and I think that this is a team that on the offensive side of the ball, I'm not expecting this game to be high scoring. I think this game will pretty much be on the end of the low scoring spectrum. But I think Carolina, I just like them a little bit more than I like the Titans. And I know I said this last week versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I got that one wrong. But I mean, Tennessee, this game could go either way. Both of these teams could end up winning this game. But I like Carolina. They are at home. And I just think Carolina ends up winning this game here. They're at home. They have the home field advantage. And I just think Carolina's going to come back and try to bounce back from that disappointing loss that they took last week versus the San Francisco 49ers. So let me know who you guys think ends up winning this game. I think the Carolina Panthers end up winning this game 20-13 is my final score prediction. So make sure you guys let me know down in the comment section down below who you guys think ends up winning this game. Make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel for more NFL videos and college football videos. And thanks for watching.